How do you get that old school film look on your videos? There is a gazillion ways nowadays, from Instagram and TikTok filters to apps and integrations on the phones. However, I must say, they are pretty limited and not necessarily accurate to what actual film looks like. And if you are more concerned about getting it right for the eyes of those people who know their stuff, then I recommend digging a little bit deeper. Let me show you Dehancer, a film emulator that has worked hard on perfecting the look for us video creators who use digital cameras but still want to achieve that nostalgic film look. The Dehancer team approached me and asked me to give an honest review about this plugin, so anything I say is 100% my opinion. I will be testing it in Adobe Premiere Pro, but this can be used on more softwares. Now, I want to start this review by stating that this is not a simple plugin. If you have little to no experience in the video editing field, especially color grading, this will probably be an overwhelming experience. And even for someone intermediate to expert like me, it took me some experimenting before I could use its tools correctly. Why? Because it offers a lot of options to manually create the film look that works for you. And that's what I like the most. They have put so much effort into creating a very sophisticated film emulation plugin. Let me show you how I color graded this digital footage to make it look like this. To start, Dehancer offers over 130 camera inputs. And even though I shot this on a Blackmagic Cinema Pocket 4K, I prefer the 6K look. And if you don't find your camera here, don't worry. Just choose the look that you find more appealing, and you can get even more manual by adding or decreasing the contrast, saturation, and more, using the film developer. You can then add the type of film you want to emulate, and you can choose from so many options, it's crazy. Again, I'm not an expert on film, but I already love how good the footage looks. I then experimented with the halation feature, which creates a halo around the highlights, contrasting edges, and light sources. Additionally, halation adds vibrancy and beauty to the skin tone. The film compressor decreases the highlights and gives you more possibilities to adjust them as you like. In this case though, I'll leave it disabled. The monitor here can be used to check the exposure as you color grade, making sure no colors are peaking. The bloom tool enhances a vintage experience that is typically accomplished with optical filters, exotic lenses, and small format film by providing a gentle glow or mist around brilliant objects. The film grain on Dehancer, compared to other tools where you simply add a grain overlay, produces specific image grain to each frame, rebuilding the image from scratch based on the shot's color and brightness. Now that's a huge quality increase. And you can adjust the ISO and pick among very heavy 8mm grain all the way to more subtle 65mm. I also love Gate Weave, which emulates the movement of the film while it's being pulled by the projector. Here, I like to add a projector sound to make the experience more realistic. Talking about realism, Film Breath will add the change in exposure as the clip plays, just like the analog cameras do sometimes. Now, I do think it's quite a heavy one, and I usually don't want to use it, but it's nice to have the option. The vignette is supposed to be a defect on the lens, but at the same time increases the tension on the frame, especially guiding the eyes of the viewer towards the center. I'm not too crazy about film damage, which adds dust, scratches, and hair in some frames, but it does add to the analog realism, and like each of these tools, you can adjust the amount. You can also save and export your look so you don't have to go through the process again, or use it for real-time grading on a monitor. And finally, but not always, I like to finish it with the overscan, which is the additional image area on film, where the frame spaces, film gate, perforation, and neighboring frames are visible. I do suggest completing your edit first, because at least on my computer, the preview of the footage is extremely slow. So leave the Dehancer for the very end. On the downside, Dehancer has a cost of $450 if you buy lifetime. So I understand that if you're not working with video professionally, then it might be expensive. However, if you have the money or want to upgrade your color grading game, Dehancer does cover everything you need regarding film emulation, and if you use the code ANGELUCCIFILMS, you get 10% off. I will definitely use it as my default tool when I want to give my videos a film look. Do check out their websites to answer any questions that you might have or to take any final decisions. Thank you for watching and happy editing!